Guys, welcome to the J. Scott Outdoors podcast. This is going to be episode number 507, and this is with Clay Bundy of Clay Bundy Outfitters. He just finished a phenomenal hunt up in 13A and 13B up on the Arizona Strip. It's going to be an awesome, short but fun-filled conversation here with Clay Bundy. I want to thank you guys for supporting my podcast. I also want to tell you what's going on with the sponsors of my podcast. GoHunt.com is the title sponsor of my podcast, and the optics manager, Cody Nelson, who is a friend of mine in the gear shop at GoHunt.com. Cody Nelson is in charge of all optics sales. He is the optics manager. I call him the glassing guru. And we've had him on the podcast here, and I just want to remind you guys going into the remaining of this year's hunts, if you have any optics needs at all, or for Christmas if you're looking for a new rifle scope or binocular or spotting scope or tripod, give Cody at GoHunt.com Gear Shop a call, 702-847-8747 extension 2, or email him at optics@gohunt.com. He handles all of the calls, all of the emails himself, and they have a full line of products there, and he's able to talk to you about specific needs that you might have. And like you've heard him on the podcast, he knows a lot about optics, and he can match you with what works best, or find the right fit for you. So give him a call. I want to thank them for their sponsorship. I also want to thank KUIU, that's KUIU.com, for their sponsorship. Also CanyonCoolers.com. If you use the J. Scott promo code, you're going to get a 10% discount there at CanyonCoolers.com. It's a cooler company based right out of Flagstaff, Arizona, in my home state. I've been using Canyon Coolers and really like their product. I've got the new Navigator, and I'm loading it up for this sheep hunt that I'm heading out for tomorrow. Give CanyonCoolers.com a try. Use the J. Scott promo code. You're going to save 10%. Also, Phonescope.com. Been using Phonescope to take all the videos and photos on my different hunts. Use the J. Scott 18 promo code. You're going to get a 10% discount. And then OnXMaps.com. There's a unique promo code going on right now with Onyx till tomorrow, which is the 26th of November. If you use Thanks30, they're actually offering 30% discount on the app on the phone and the desktop. That is 30% off if you want to get the one state membership, or if you want to get all 50 states. Now, the key is typically we would use the J. Scott 18 promo code to get a 20% discount. But Onyx is actually letting me promote the 30%, which is the Thanks 30 discount. But when they send you a survey, just simply say that you heard about it from J. Scott, and I'll get credit for that. I want to thank these sponsors for supporting this podcast. These sponsors are the reason that I'm able to devote as much time as I do to this podcast. You listeners are the reason for the podcast, but the sponsors make it possible to allow me to devote as much time, and their compensation to me is much appreciated, and it's allows me to really try and get as much information out there to you guys as possible. So let's get right to this episode with Clay Bundy of Clay Bundy Outfitters. And again, appreciate all you guys supporting me on Instagram, on my Instagram handle. If you don't know it, come follow J. Scott Outdoors. And then also, if you have any questions, comments, anything you want to get off your chest, you can send me a direct message there on Instagram, or you can send me an email at jscottoutdoors@gmail.com. Let's get right to it, guys.
Welcome to the J. Scott Outdoors podcast. It's the night before Thanksgiving. I'm driving back from sheep scouting. I've got good service here, and I noticed my friend Clay Bundy, who's been on the podcast prior to the strip hunts, had some great success this year. Clay, it's great to have you on tonight. I'm curious to see how those strip hunts played out. Obviously, I've seen some pictures, so I know some great things happened. Before we get into the 13B hunt, how was the 13A hunt?
Well, it was good. I mean, we killed on opening day. We killed with a lady, Patty Derrick. She was just a beautiful lady that killed just a great 5x5, a 30-inch wide, just a 200-inch plus deer, just a beautiful deer. And then we was hunting one particular buck, and everybody else was, and we never got him killed. We've heard that a do-it-yourselfer killed it, but I haven't seen pictures yet. And then we hunted quite a while, bunch of days, and finally killed another pretty dang good deer that didn't make the 200 mark but close. And the guy was happy. The deer, I kind of, in the last, when I talked to you, I thought maybe the rut would really have kicked in, and it did.
Did it?
It is
on
crazy.
The A hunt? On the A hunt or the B hunt?
It has started in the A hunt, and it's
really?
crazy right now on the B hunt. I mean,
so
it was
the A hunt was first, and the rut started kicking in. What, Clay? Mid hunt?
Yeah, not even. I mean, even at the first day or so, they were rutting. Really? Yeah. And it just got better every day that went on, and so it was fun that way. I mean, I think in V, I mean, it's still not over there yet. It's over for us, but they're going to kill some more good deer, I think.
Let's jump back to first day. You kill a 5x5. Was this a buck that you had quite a bit of knowledge of? Is it a buck that just popped up on your radar screen, or kind of how did that play out?
Well, it was a buck that we did know about. He had been hitting ponds, and not that many people knew about him because of ponds or reservoirs or dirt tanks are hard to get pictures of him. But we had 2 different pictures of him, but they weren't good, solid pictures. So we knew about him. And then he had moved a ways, and we just got, we had people in the right place that spotted him, and my nephew Talon was the guide on him, and they literally snuck within 30 yards of him and killed him. It was really it was pretty cool deal. So, and that takes the wind right and just a lot of things right to make that happen like that, because he was in thick trees, and you couldn't make a long shot. It just had to get in there with him, and so it happened. It was cool.
That's awesome. Is he a real heavy old buck, or what? How old do you think he is? And what's he kind of look like?
He's a 5x5. His twos were a little bit short, and the extra point came off the inline, came off exact same side. We just posted him today on Instagram, and it's a cool buck. I would, looking at his teeth, I would say they would say he's from 5 to 7, 5 to 7-year-old buck. Okay,
and so overall, you guys obviously had an unbelievable year again. Overall, were they other guys, other hunters? Were some nice bucks getting knocked down in A? I kind of heard overall it was, they weren't shooting that many great bucks. What did you hear, or what do you know?
Well, if the big deer that supposedly got killed, that's a great one. Another one that we were targeting, I know, got killed. Yeah, I mean, the growth wasn't there this year. So, it's not like a banner year, but I still think that because of the rut happening, the success was, we felt good about it. I mean, I think I think probably overall I know it wasn't as good as it has been in the past, but you just got to do the best you can with the year you got and the tag you got. So we got blessed that way.
So when you noticed them rutting in A, were you getting real excited about B? And then kind of how did the B hunt unfold? Going into the B hunt, were your expectations high? Were you Were you kind of down the middle of the road? What were you kind of thinking, and then how did it play out?
Yeah, no, we were really excited about it, and we had of course B's got more target bucks than A, and so we had probably 8 bucks that we were really targeted on, and we ended up killing 3 of those. And the first day we come back to camp with 4 tags still in their hand, and that's always kind of, as an outfitter, is kind of like, whoo, we need to get one killed. But then the next day we come back with 3 deer, 3 big deer, and 2 of them over the 212 mark, and then the other buck was just a big old heavy 30-inch buck that didn't score good, but he was a great buck. And then
that's awesome. So 3 bucks on the second day. You guys killed 3 bucks.
Yep.
That's unreal.
Yep. Yeah, it is. It was a banner day. And then I know you probably know, and I want the world to know that we don't hunt on Sunday, and we didn't kill anything on Sunday. We went to church, and then we come back, and the next day, Monday, we all got back together and just killed an awesome deer with Jesse Smith, just a toad of a deer, beautiful deer, and with that deer, he was rutting so hard that he didn't care if a bullet was thrown at him. It was incredible. And
so
there was
tell me about
another
this buck.
Well, it's a buck that so I've got. We run cameras, and my nephew Talon Bundy ran the area where this buck was at, and he had kept tracking him a couple of years. Last year he was a really good buck, and this year he was better than last year. So I think he wasn't an old deer. So and when they're young, even on a bad year, they can still improve from the year before if they're young. And this deer did improve. He's an 8x8, all inlines, great mass, just a giant look. You know what I mean? Just a buck that blows you away. And it was just a fun deal how it all worked out, and it all, again, this buck probably could have been better if it was a better year. All these deer probably would have been better, but still, if you just keep hunting hard at working at it, you get blessed and get opportunities, and we sure did.
That's awesome. Jesse's buck, what's his gross score roughly?
Well, what do you think? Did you see the pictures?
I saw one and it looked huge. I don't know. He looks big.
Yeah, he is big. 220-ish.
Good for you. Wow. Yeah. So we talked on the podcast before. Originally in the summer, you thought it was going to be okay, and then as the summer progressed, you realized quickly that the antler growth wasn't a banner year. I remember you saying that you still thought a few big deer were going to get killed, and it's playing out just as though you talked. With them running really hard in 13B, how do you project looking at next year? Obviously, we know nothing about moisture, but we know that we've gotten good fall moisture, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but what about holdover bucks? What are your thoughts? I know it's the hunt's still going on, but what do you think?
It still might be a little early to respond to that completely, but I was actually talking to a guy today about this, and it was like, how does this place keep producing? And it's like, you know what? It's the Arizona Strip, and this place can just, there's a young buck right now, a 3-year-old buck, that next year can just blow up and scare you to death. It just, and I've got a relation of mine, or an ancestor of mine, that said that the Strip, and he was talking about cows, but I think it relates to deer also, The Arizona Strip will promise you less and give you more than any place he's ever been. And I think that's true with deer. You know, it's even on a bad year, you can kill some deer like it's been killed. You know what I mean? And then on a good year, look out. And so I'm really optimistic that, you know, that there's more deer coming. I felt, and maybe I've said this before, but I felt like in 2009 that, holy cow, I went out where I usually hunt and there wasn't a deer left, it seemed like. And then 2010 come along, you know. And so it really, that place is just unique, a special place for growing big deer, and hopefully the Fish and Game keep the numbers down where it can keep happening every year. You know what I mean? And that's the key. We got to have age class and genetics to make big deer.
Yeah, so, for sure. It's one of those things you always want to make sure. You know, we have a few trophy areas in Arizona. It's like, man, keep it good because it's, you know, it's the most unbelievable place in the world. Is there any one thing, you know, you talk about age and genetics. Obviously, genetics, well, I don't want to put words in your mouth. You have to have genetics, and if you have great genetics, then you just add age, and bucks can be, you know, phenomenal. You could have all the old bucks you want. If you don't have genetics, you'll never have any good bucks. Do you think it's, I mean, just in the soil, what do you think? What makes those deer so unique on the Arizona Strip?
Well, it is genetics, but I also think it is, and I always relate deer and cows together, but the feed in the grass for cows that grows out there has a higher protein than like something in northern Utah where stuff grows so fast. It's proven fact that it has more protein, it just has more to it. And I think it's the same with what the deer eat, the cliff rose and the stuff like that. There's just more to that. You know, when them storms come, you know, stuff grows slower, and when it's slower, it has more to it, I think. Fast-growing grass is filling, but there's not much protein to it. And I think that has something to do with it for deer also. And that's just me. That's just my observation. I don't know that that's factual.
Clay, being a cattleman that you are, and you know, you're always hepped up about deer, but you're a cowman, and you're always paying attention to your cattle and what have you. Is there any correlation between, you know, your calf crops and such, you know, compared to antler growth? I mean, are there things that you see with your cattle that you go, okay, it's going to be an early rut, or it's going to be, you know, the antler growth's going to be good, or, oh, the cows are thin and poor, and, you know, talk a little bit about being a cowman and how, you know, paying attention to your cattle correlates to the deer.
Well, it does. I mean, you know, you watch your cows when it starts raining in the summer. You watch them bull up and get pregnant, and that's the same with the deer. You know, a lot of times when they still have that green, the rut starts happening quicker. And then if your cows come out of your winter country, you know, we don't feed our cows out here on the Strip, which is kind of unique. In the winter, we move them to a lower country, and they, you know, when they come out of that winter country, if it's a good spring, they come out of there fat and looking good. I mean, that's a telltale that everything's good, and the deer's going to, you know, the antler growth's going to follow suit, you know. And so it's a unique, I mean, it's really correlated together, I think, you know, if you watch them like that. And, you know, this year, the fall, we've had a lot of water, or the summer, and so there's going to be water spread out for the winter, and a lot of these big dirt tanks that the ranchers have out there are full, and if we just get the moisture this winter and spring, it could really do good, I think.
That's awesome. One more question, and I'll let you go. I know it's Thanksgiving tomorrow. From a pressure standpoint on A and a pressure standpoint on B, with the deer being spread out a little bit, did it spread the people out, or was it any different than normal with the congregation of people around, or did it seem that people were a little more spread out this year?
No, no, we were all together.
You were all together.
I mean, on the V hunt, there was on that one hillside that we were on, there was probably 7-8 trucks with 20 people lined out on it, looking for the same deer. That's not very fun.
Is that just a function of not as many deer to chase this year, and so people were clumped up on certain deer? Because on normal years, you could have 30 bucks over 200 or 40 bucks over 200, whereas maybe this year it was just, that's why people were clumped up. Is that a good assumption?
Well, yes, but the reason they were clumped up together is because of trail cameras.
Yeah.
If there was no trail cameras, everybody would be spread out looking for deer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's all related back to trail cameras, and you either love them or you hate them, and I kind of do both.
Yeah. You know how it goes, though. You guys had a phenomenal year. Some years are better than others. That's like, every outfitter, you can't knock it out of the park every single year, and it's always nice when you have years that really go your way. But you've been up there your whole life. You know that sometimes, the sun shines on you sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. But it sure
Absolutely.
is nice when it does. It sure is nice when it does, though, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and I've tell my guys that, because we've had some slow years, and it's like, you know what, and you look at others, and I think they're hitting out of the park, and everybody's time comes to be humbled, and we've been humbled, and so you just realize when you do really have success that you're blessed. You've had a lot of luck, and it's like I say that many times, the difference between a good hunt and a bad one is 5 minutes, just 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it's 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's it. And so we are, we really got blessed and lucky this year, and we're just thankful for it. And,
that's awesome.
And I want to shout it out to. I've got really good help, and that's why I've been successful. I've got good young eyes and old eyes with wisdom, and so we've been. It's luck is when preparation meets with opportunity.
Yeah.
And so that's anyway.
With the
really blessed.
Clay, with the Kaibab late hunts starting up, I believe here this Friday or coming up soon. If they're really running hard on 13B, I would assume up on the Kaibab they'll just be going nuts. So was that a safe assumption?
Absolutely. And you know what? The Kaibab is better. There's going to be some big deer killed over there this year on that late hunt.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm glad to hear it. It seems like the last few years it's just getting a little better, and that's awesome to hear. Clay, I'll let you go. I know you're busy. I appreciate your time. Now you're off to do a little sheep hunting, huh?
Yeah, it should be fun. I love mule deer, but I really like sheep too. So we'll hopefully the sun shines on us there. But you never know.
There you go. Yeah, for sure. Well, have a great hunt, and hopefully I can see you up at the Western Hunting Expo again this year. And If I don't, have a great hunt. God bless you, and thanks for coming on. And I encourage everybody to check out Clay's Instagram. That's Clay Bundy Outfitters. I'll put a link in the show notes, and I'll also put Clay Bundy's website and how to get a hold of him for more information. Clay, thanks a lot. God bless. Okay.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate you. See you. Bye.
All right, buddy. Bye.